in the AL Central. The Hankook AL wildcard standings now show us. And they're on the outside looking in, and not only in the Central, but they're 2.5 games back of that third wild card spot. Rays, Blue Jays, and Mariners all tied. So how do we look at the Twins season, Bill? I mean, do we look at it as, hey, no one really expected them to be where they are because they finished last a year ago? Or, hey, they actually tried to make offseason improvements, and it worked, and now they just never really were able to separate themselves from the pack.
Now, I kind of straddled the fence on them a little bit when the year started because they were kind of my sleeper pick, right? So I thought that they were going to be better. And the guy in the middle, Carlos Correa up there, when they signed that 3-year deal with, by the way, I could opt out every year.
Yep.
I'm thinking my man's going to go off. And if he goes off, he might opt out. But he also, if he goes off, the Twins are putting themselves in a pretty good spot. So the fact that they were leading this Central for a good chunk of the season to begin with, and then the fact that they've kind of drifted down, I'm disappointed.
Okay.
Because I think offensively they are good enough to compete, and nobody else in the Central wants to take a hold of it and run away with it. So I'm a little disappointed that they haven't been able to remain at the top spot right now.
What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, when you make the moves that they did in the offseason, as a team, you're expecting to do well, and your goal is to get to the playoffs and do some damage. And, them just like, Cleveland's been kind of the more steady team out of the 3 teams that we were expecting to compete in the Central there. And, I mean, it's going to come down to one of those 3 teams kind of making a run towards the end of this year, like starting to pull away. We saw the Twins do it a little bit early in the season, and they've kind of come back down because they've had some, their big dogs struggling a little bit. But, I mean, it's going to be one of those teams got to get on a run.
It just shows you how quickly things can change. Back in July 13th, they had a 4.5 game lead.
Right.
I mean, things can change that quick.
Takes a week.
That's it.
Takes a week.
Time now for Power Rankings presented by So Rare for that. This is coming from the MLB.com writers, and those guys do a tremendous job here. And collectively, here's how they have it stacked up. Dodgers on top. That one's pretty easy here. Dodgers, unbelievable, 35-7 in their last of 42. Astros, remember, for a big part of the year, the Yankees had the record in the American League, and the Astros had that number 2 seed. But now the Astros have a lead over the Yankees. Mets are playing great, as are the Atlanta Braves.